All right. Let's see. Just gonna wait for the community to jump in and we're good to go. Sec here, guys. All right, cool. What's up, man? How you doing? How you guys doing? Ready to find another trade? I am. Yesterday was kind of a bummer. The first loss in the challenge, but we're still up. 7.28%. Just the name of the game, right? How you guys doing? All right. So yeah, yesterday we had that loss with Cardano, and today we're going to make it back plus more. We just got to find the trade, right? So right now Bitcoin is being compressed against this uptrending level of support and being squeezed from this downtrending momentum here that arguably could start up here down to here. So we can either wait for a long position when we break this downtrending level of resistance, or short when we break this uptrending level of support right here. We are in a demand zone right now, so there should potentially be more bullish activity than bearish activity, but we are also getting a confirmation rejection off of this uptrending level of support here on the macro sense. So if we lose this uptrending level of support, this could be the basically the confirmation rejection in a larger scale, and we're just going to be able to get an earlier entry from the loss of support here. But we still got to treat it, still got to react to certain levels to prepare for the trade to go against us, of course. We'll see how it goes. But first, we got to either lose the resistance or the support before we make a decision. And right now, I'm looking at the 15-minute time frame. There's not very much space left, so the move should happen very shortly. Hey, how you guys doing? We got pump for today. Awesome. So yeah, like based on the daily time frame, it's not looking too hot. Like you said, I saw someone mention that. If we go to the daily time frame, we can see that this uptrending level support. Oh, let me just make adjustment here. Yeah, I guess it depends. Yeah, this is a line here that's kind of covering it, but yeah, we got a clean rejection. So yeah, lower time frames, we can react to this as a whole for a longer term trade while reacting to the bottom demand zone in case we double bottom here. And if we end up losing this demand zone, then the target is still like 25,700 roughly, where this uptrending level support is here on the daily. So whatever direction we can look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for other trades and then use Bitcoin as the guide for those trades, and whatever one gives us the best risk to reward ratio, I'm going to be taking for the challenge. So right now we don't have very much time, but we got at least 35 plus minutes before we need to make a decision on trade. So I'm going to be using this information to help guide me in which direction, what kind of trades I should be taking. All right. So what we got in chat here? I entered off of the inverse head and shoulders on the 15-minute on Bitcoin. Let's see what you could mean by that. But yeah, you could be seeing this structure here, but we haven't had a confirmation yet on that. Okay, Litecoin. Yeah, come on, I'll take a look at Litecoin. Let's do that first. I was looking for a trade today on Gala, but we've hit the target in like one candle, so I couldn't enter on it. All right, so Let's look at Litecoin USDT. Litecoin's got a rising wedge structure near a level of resistance, so it's looking bearish. And rising wedges always give you the best risk to reward ratio. Let's see what we got. I'm going to zoom out a little bit on Litecoin. Yeah, clean double bottom. Pump surpassed its target. It's had continuations here. Easy confirmation bounce here though. So hopefully you got it on that. But yeah, we're approaching this historical level of resistance and support here, and we're approaching it with a bearish formation. So we're likely to drop. All the stats say we're going down, so we'll have to wait for this to pan out. But it depends on what happens first, right? If within the formation it gets above this support level or this resistance level here and flips that support, then it can still break to the upside despite the statistics, right? So long as we get a concrete level of support off this area, then it'll still break to the upside. Just a matter of what happens first. We lose the support or we gain this support. Yeah. All right. So nothing yet on Litecoin, but yeah, there's definitely a good move coming here. When it comes to rising wedges, you basically just seek the swing high, put your stop loss there, and we lose the support level, and your target is the bottom of the formation, and you use each level of retest and consolidation as a location where you prepare for a reversal. Like here, this point of control also. Points of control like this near the target, you pretty much have to start undercutting these kind of zones. Right. But this BPVR that you're seeing here is based on the local price action. So all right, any other assets you guys want to dive into? Preferably ones with their lots of correlation to Bitcoin based on the Bitcoin data that we got here. If we get some charts that correlate with Bitcoin's price action, and we're getting so close to this breakout, it'll assist in our trade quite a bit. Okay. How does ETH look at the moment? Ethereum is kind of boring lately. I should pull up my Ethereum chart. It's like here. Just save some time on charting. All right, here we go. Ethereum is, yeah, it's pretty close to breaking to the, so it's getting squeezed between this horizontal resistance and this uptrending level support here. Yeah, the Ethereum's kind of the same boat. We've lost pretty important level of support, like this green line right here was resistance, support, support, support and resistance, support, and now it's acting as resistance again. But we're getting squeezed, and we're going to lose this, likely going to lose the support rather than break the resistance, but we got to react to whatever happens first, of course. But a big move though. This will be a big move, especially if we lose the support. Support reaction levels would be here at 1790. We have a little one here as well. But honestly, we could just wait until we lose this level before entering. Yeah, I would probably wait. If we were going to enter a short on Ethereum, I would wait until we lose this level right here before we enter. Okay. Now let's look at Solana, Cardano, Cake, TRX. All right, cool. Yeah, let's take a look into Solana first. I'm gonna leave this one open. I'm gonna just start leaving the tabs open that I think there's a decent opportunity for. So I'm gonna leave Ethereum open. Link, I've got a feeling it's gonna drag itself out a little bit further. Like for a Link, I'm waiting for an inverse head and shoulders confirmation bounce, but we still haven't broke the horizontal resistance here. What was that? That just popped up on my screen. Well, either way, it's fine. I got something masked over top of my screen here. I'm just going to click on it. Oh, we're good. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, break of this horizontal resistance. There it is. Okay, I'm just going to delete that. Okay. A break of this horizontal resistance. I'll be preparing for a long position for this inverse head and shoulder structure. And the technical target is just below this local resistance here. But we also have to be mindful of this immediate resistance and this level of resistance here at 6.857. Got a little ways to go for that. And we got some pretty solid uptrend level, like this uptrend momentum here that we could follow too for a Link. Try to get as many full body connections as we can. There we go. So that's the momentum that we could follow if we break this resistance here. And let's take a look at Solana here. I'm going to pull up. Oh, we'll do Cardano first. I don't have my Solana chart ready. Dot could be a good short. We'll look at Dot too then. Yeah, this is the trade that we did yesterday. Okay. Okay, we got oh, this is daily. Okay. I was just looking at this red line where it came from. Daily support. If we lose that daily support, it's going to be a pretty big collapse for Cardano. And on daily time frame, we were trying to break this resistance when we were entering on it yesterday. We didn't have a daily confirmation, and we're trying to get in early. And I believe that's the reason why we lost the trades. Just we were, in my opinion, I was a bit too greedy, trying to get in without the daily confirmation, and it ended up getting we ended up getting back inside the formation for the daily confirmation. And now we are being wedged right here, and this is going to be a pretty big decision maker formation here. If we lose this support, we'll have enough momentum to get through the daily, and I believe based on how much time we have left in the formation, about roughly 6 hours. If we take the full amount of time it takes for us to break out of this rather than sooner, usually it breaks out sooner, like 30% before the formation hits its apex. I'm thinking that if we break later rather than sooner, if it goes to the downside, that it will happen with the daily candle close and we'll end up being stuck down below this resistance. And hopefully the opposite happens, because I'd love to enter long on Cardano, because this would be the multi-day trade that I want to get in on. But this time I'm going to wait until the daily candle closes for that move, at least for the multi-day trade on the larger term account. 80, 88, symmetrical triangles, so it can go anywhere. Yeah, symmetrical triangles are an unbiased formation. However, when they're made on a downtrend, it does increase the chance for it to go to the downside. Trend is your friend until it ends. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We got Solana, Cake, and Tron as our next ones. So Sol USDT. Bitcoin's retesting. Yeah, there's let's go to the daily here for a second. Solana was pretty easy to trade over here. Had a blast trading it. Well, hopefully we get another opportunity like that. So far, the trend's going to be, it's like we're getting our butts kicked on the way back down to the bottom of this formation. So every time we retest this downtrend level resistance, we get a rejection. We got all this negative space here to fill, but we could break to the upside. We're at a relatively strong area of interest. We had a bounce off of it on the daily time frame. It's basically the heart line to this formation. So that we could get a bounce. This bounce could give us enough momentum to break the upside here, but let's dissect it in the lower time frames and see what it looks like. If we go to the 4 hour first. Got a failed inverse head and shoulders. And let's go to the hourly. Yeah, it's getting squeezed out too soon. Based on like all the information that we have from the price action, it's more likely to go to the downside. And we got a rejection here and a head and shoulders behavior. So if we lose this horizontal support, we'll see what we got. We got measurable target that'll bring us right back down to this strong area of interest here. But that reset could cause a large double bottom and break this to the upside after that. But we'll have to wait. The great thing about head and shoulders structures, like I know we kind of got like a second left shoulder here, but the behavior is still the same. Came in from an uptrend, so. We can wait for an hourly candle close if we get the candle close below this full body candle here. So if we can wait for something sooner. Yeah, we can wait for a 15-minute as long as we're below this area here. Cool. All right. So yeah, whatever happens first, an hourly candle below this or 15-minute below that. Looks like a pretty good opportunity, honestly. All right, so Solana, we'll keep an eye on that. The R&R is pretty decent on that too. All right, we can't assume that our entry will be perfect, so if it's something around here. Yeah, that's a pretty decent trade. All right, so let's look for the next one. We got Solana, we're looking at now. Cake. Well, I don't know if we should look at Cake. It's not looking good. We'll take a look at Cake for a second, but I don't know if there's anything that we can act on. A lot of Cake's been getting its butt kicked too. It's pretty decent recovery here though. Yeah, it's pretty awkward to trade Cake because of its burning and minting structure. You can stake assets to earn it and then use it to earn third-party assets on PancakeSwap, but because of its minting structure, you should be focusing a lot mostly on shorts, except for on Fridays. But with PancakeSwap, Cake, you got to find a good centralized exchange in order to do the shorts. I believe you can short it on KuCoin. Yeah, when it lost this uptrending support here, it just collapsed dramatically with a 44% drop. And it still hasn't met this extremely steep momentum yet. So this this would be like trying to catch the knife right now if you don't wait for the momentum to be confirmed to be broken. We don't have a structure either. So we don't know what like the market behavior is like, whether it's starting to reverse or not. So let's first wait for this to break before taking any action on Cake, and see what kind of structure is formed inside this area of interest here. One sec here, right about here. And then make a decision, because trying to catch the dip or anything like that will be a little bit dangerous for the behavior that's going through right now. I've seen these DEX tokens go to 0, so just be careful trying to get a good deal on this. I know it's kind of tempting because of the fact that you can stake it for great third-party rewards, but it's not worth the risk if it's what you're staking goes down to 0 too, right? This is one of those assets that I believe will not reach its all-time high again in the long term. Right? Its all-time high is $44. All right, cool. So nothing we can do on Cake. Let's jump on to TRX. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about that. I just want to inform you, if you're trying to do something financially with Cake, that right now it's super high risk. I know it looks like a good price compared to history, but you don't know if this is the bomb yet. It's in price discovery right now. So let's look at TRON, so TRX. Tron's revisiting up here, the top of this range. This is the daily time frame we're looking at right now. Still honoring this uptrending level support. You can readjust this now. That's still relevant horizontal resistance, but we can change the structure now. Everything's starting to look exhausted, honestly. So yeah, TRON is consolidating. You could technically range trade at this state. You have to stop the range trading as soon as we lose the support level. Behind that gap. Bitcoin broke to the upside here. Minute hourly behavior. 12 minutes left on that. All right, so Bitcoin's clearly breaking out. So let's look at the bullish suggestions that we were looking at. Nope, can't jump on that. Can't jump on that. TRON, we could enter a long. I'm going to enter a long on TRON here. Yeah, I'm going to do it right now. We don't have the confirmation yet on TRON. One sec. Yeah, I'm going to enter on TRON here. We have a confirmation built on Bitcoin, and TRON's got a lot of Bitcoin liquidity, so we could drag it up. We've got our first wick past this zone. So let's see the risk to reward ratio. Yeah, 1 to 1.58 for a 2.7% gain maximum. Yeah, my concern is this downtrending resistance right here, interfering with our target. And we don't have very much momentum data. 1.5. We could react to it. It's a lot of... If we just entered along on Bitcoin, we got double bottom momentum. If we long now, stop loss location would be right about here. Risking to lose 0.46. 0.17, 0.72, 27. I'm gonna enter along on Bitcoin. And I'm just going to be mindful of this horizontal level resistance here. Our stop loss will be protected in about 3 hours and 15 minutes. So at this point, when we get to this point here, this is basically when I would move my stop loss to break even. We got some price action distance, roughly around 3 hours and 15 minutes from now, depending on how it forms. This one, yeah, this is gonna be for the challenge. I just didn't, yeah, just looking at TRON still kind of crapped the bed there. So we didn't jump in on that yet. Close above that. All right, yeah, cool. I'm entering now on Bitcoin. I'm gonna pull up Copy Trader, Bitcoin. Long, and there we go. So in a long right now on Bitcoin. I'm gonna pull open a long as well my personal account. Okay, and what was that, 3-minute momentum? 5-minute? Cool, okay. Just entering the trade right now on my other monitor for a different account. So 1 sec here, guys. So for the challenge, it's just gonna be putting in sec here. 96, okay. X, 10x. Cool. All right, so I'm in along on all my accounts now. Sorry. Cool. Let's look at the chat here. So my stop loss location for the trade is at 26,958. It's protected from this uptrending momentum. It's not yet protected from this uptrending level support, but it will be in just like about 30 minutes. And then we got the target is ultimately up here at 27,263. Like I'm going to be preparing to react to this level of resistance here. However, I'm not going to be immediately out. When we get up here, I want to see if maybe we get support off this level so I can continue the trade. Because a double bottom bounce off this level of support right here would be pretty significant. And because we could have double bottom continuations. But yeah, anyways, waiting for that, and we're also got to prepare for resistance here at this horizontal level of support that's flipping as resistance right now. I'm just going to double check my entry and adjust it onto here. Open price, copy. I don't know how, oh, it's just the exchange difference, okay. Yeah, the exchange was a little bit of an arbitrage event there. With BitGet, it was a lower price than what we're seeing here. So I'm already up about 0.79%. For those of you who might be using BitGet, you probably have the same experience going on right now. Okay. But yeah, guys, how's your day going? I'm sorry this one started so late. I got issues with my computer that I had to resolve in order for OBS to function. I had to reinstall OBS in order to like go live with you guys. So yeah, it's been fun. Okay, so let me just catch up on the chat here. So DOT could be a good short. Let's take a look at DOT then. I don't like DOT has tons of Bitcoin liquidity, but it is kind of got its own relative strength. It looks like we're not doing this anytime soon unless it retracts back in 2 minutes. I used to hold DOT more than Bitcoin, believe it or not, back in the day. Had that mindset, more tokens equals more chance to become rich, but honestly it's just that's not true at all. Let's go to double bottom, 15-minute time frame. It looks like a great long if we get above here, but within the range this is clearly a short opportunity. So I see what you're saying there. I'll do a quick little lesson while we're waiting on Bitcoin to go towards our target. So you can do this on any time frame, but preferably the larger the time frame, the better. You'll have much higher win rate, and you'll notice that just in general when you're trading in a higher time frame, it's just much more calm environment. So here we can map out what's called the demand and the supply zone. So in these zones you can prepare for reversals. But you first want to, if you get price action up in here, you want to see acceptance back within what's called the reward zone, which is between the two zones. I've actually set up my templates here for them, so it's easier for you guys to understand. But yeah, so yeah, well, we can wait for the short opportunity for DOT as a separate trade from the challenge. Bitcoin's kind of carrying DOT up a little bit. If we get support up here, then it could be a great long opportunity. So what does the average true range look like for DOT right now? Hasn't adapted yet. So if we get support off of this, then the average true range will turn green and it'll adjust based on the volatility. So it measures the previous 14 candles to give you a location where to put your stop loss, and it actually reduces your chances of being stopped hit by about 65%. So if we get support up here, this should adjust along with it, and we can use the average true range for the stop loss location. So long as the average true range doesn't adjust below here, because I'm not going to put my stop loss. Because the risk to reward ratio will be a 1-to-1. We got a point of control protection. This would be the invalidation point anyways, so if I were to enter a long, be roughly around here, depending where the support bounce is confirmed. Stop loss will be roughly around here. And the target, conservative target, about here. We have a liquidity zone here, so we can prepare for resistance there. It's 1 to 1.35, so typically when you're practicing risk management, you can use this number to help define how much funds you should put into the trade. So anything below 1 to 2, you should be putting less funds into the trade. So this, if let's say you put in like $1,000 on average of your trades, I would actually put in about 60% less when I have a 1 to 3, or 70% less. One to 1.3, sorry. Not 1 to 3. Cardano seems to be struggling with this uptrending long-term support from December. Yeah, you are right. It is kind of get his butt kicked there. And Bitcoin's still slowly creeping up. Got a micro double top in the shorter term time frames. Still maintaining that micro uptrend though. So one moment here, guys. I'm going to set up a stop loss system. I'm just going to use this trend line right here for when a candle closes below it. It'll automatically close the trade for me on the 15-minute time frame. What else we got for any messages? BNB head and shoulders retesting. Oh, let's take a look at that. It's pretty big. BNB. Yeah, that looks pretty clean. Just go to the hourly. for BNB, it's got uptrending support, and it's got horizontal. Like this is a pretty decently large demand zone, but you're right, it's coming in right now for a confirmation rejection off the horizontal level resistance, and in confluence with that, it's revisiting this hourly downtrending resistance as well. So you can definitely, I would enter a short on BNB if we lose this uptrending momentum right here. Because if we get a close below this, we would have not broken this downtrending level of resistance, and we would have a candle close below this horizontal level of resistance simultaneously. So, and we would have lost this little micro uptrend. So I'd enter a short if we lose this little level right here. And then we do have immediate support in our phase 2 that we have to be aware of right here, this white line. This range kind of begins. See how it goes, but yeah, definitely clean head and shoulders. Bitcoin. Okay. So we got just catching up here on the messages here, guys. Typical OBS, yeah, here ya. Did I clean up my hard drive? A little bit. I cleaned it up, and then I had to do updates, and then it kind of like got unclean again. So I gotta create more space. The problem is I do the common bad habit that most people do, and saved a lot of my information on the wrong drive. I put it on the C drive instead of the D drive, so I've been taking up operation space. So my computer's been like performing worse and worse. So I gotta get it moved to the proper drive and filter some stuff into my Google Drive to make more space on the computer. Because you have what's called virtual space, which allows your computer to operate with all these tabs that I've got, and it's been siphoning up even my virtual space. So like some tabs, if I have too many that take up too much memory, then my computer starts to slow down. Are we in the SOL trade? No, we're in a Bitcoin trade right now. We're using this uptrending momentum right here. If we get a retest of this uptrending support, you might actually get a better entry than I've got here. The target's up here at 27,263. We have active resistance right here that we got to get past. If we get past this, then we can relax a little bit. Are we in a SOL trade? We can take a look and see if there's a reason to enter it. We were looking at a head and shoulders, I believe, for SOL as well. What are we looking at? Yeah. We met that resistance here. And if we lose this horizontal level of support, we'll be entering a SOL short. Stop loss above this consolidation where we had consistent support and resistance in the past. It's a good level to protect your stop loss here. And once we break past this resistance, then we'll have that additional level of protection for our stop loss too. Especially when the resistance flips to support. I mean, yeah, when the support flips as resistance. My bad. Got that upside down for you guys. Okay. Sounds to me like you're needing another IT lecture. Yeah. My security's good, but my space is just... I know what I'm doing is wrong with my space, but Okay, I'll be one moment. I've got a phone call from the wife, so I'm just gonna make sure everything's okay. One moment here, guys. Everything's good. Sorry, guys. Okay. Just tried to send my Matic from Wealthsimple to Binance, and they only allow sending it via the Ethereum network. Of course they do. That's great, eh? If you try to save yourself money on fees, and then they only use the most expensive network available to do the transfers. That's rough. Yeah, Wealthsimple, I used to use it to manage my dividend portfolio, but it's just it's just too slow. I just don't like it. I like their user interface, but their fees are kind of weird. I buy stocks in batches through my bank, and I do it in batches, like $1,000 increments, because of the fees. It's like $10 just to do a buy order. So $10, if you can't just throw in $100 every time you want to do a buy order, because you're losing 10% of everything you put in every time you do that. So $1,000 to $5,000 is usually what I build in a savings account, and then I put a limit buy order at critical levels of support. And then if it takes 6 months to fill, then so be it. I save myself a ton of money doing it at support level. Then, learning this the hard way. Yeah, I hear you. For onboarding, I used to use Coinbase when I first got into crypto. Now it's like I don't need to onboard. I just trade for my whatever I want to get for crypto. If I want to get more of this, I'll trade Bitcoin, use the profits to buy a different asset, kind of thing. But I use Coinbase to offboard still, and their fees are depressing. What's your favorite bot for auto range trading? Is there one that longs and shorts the range for you? Favorite? So when it comes to range trading, it's kind of passive enough as it is, so I don't use a bot for it. But if you're going to use a grid bot, I believe BitGet has a great one, and KuCoin has a great one too. But it's all based on how you set it up. But you can copy other people's settings. But when you copy other people's settings, you got to be mindful of why they set it up the way they did, and if that range is about to be complete. So, we can go over that too, since we have nothing to jump on yet for another opportunity for a little while. But I'll jump into Energy Web Token, because if you're going to set up a grid bot, there couldn't be a better asset than Energy Web Token to do it. Okay, so let me just go to the daily here. So first you have to define the range, and great ways of doing that is just looking at the visible range volume profile and see where the strongest levels of interest are. Within these valleys is typically where when we're escaping from one area of interest to the other. And you want to use the areas of interest where you see these peaks to help calibrate your bot. So at the top of the peak will be the levels of resistance within the value area, and the bottom of it would be levels of support within the value area. So you use this, you kind of draw a box around it, and you'll notice it'll come and flush in line with levels of support and resistance for the price action. So like a grid bot, you would have support buys here. You can sell within, you can look for levels of support and resistance within the middle of it, and that's usually right where the point of control is. So right here with this red line, here you could have set for sell orders, partial sell orders, and then final sell orders up here. But yeah, it's pretty passive already, in my opinion, without having to use a bot. You can just step along at the bottom, local support. We get acceptance back inside the range. When you have like situations like this where it's outside, wait until there's acceptance back in it before entering a trade. And then enter along until we get to the top of the range. You can't short energy web token in this example, but, and of course you can use formations to tell you when the range is about to end. So if you notice you're starting to get squeezed up with upturning level of support or downturning resistance, you can use that information to tell you, okay, we only got this much left time of the range that we're trapped in, so I should turn off the bot, kind of thing. Grid bots, as passive they are, they're not all that passive, because you still kind of like set alerts and alarms to tell you when you should be turning off your bots and stuff like that based on formation adjustments within the range. But yeah, some ranges are harder than others. Some assets are harder than others too. So just like energy web token is great for it. Bitcoin Cash is great for it. And you can find any great assets as well that range. Recommend them. Network tokens range a lot. If you look at assets that are staked, like, you'll notice that they range a lot more too. Stakeable assets that don't have a crazy inflationary or deflationary structure. And Bitcoin is approaching the uptrend support momentum here. Say I'm late, but I saw the copy traders in the trade. Nice. All right, cool. Spoiled the UK for stocks, ETFs, as well as buy and sell commission free because they all make their money from CFD. Yeah, ETFs are good. Just depending on where you hold them, you can end up getting hit with fees that are larger than what you earn from the dividends. So just make sure you're looking at whoever you're holding the ETFs with, because sometimes they'll charge you quarterly fees that will either match or exceed the earnings you receive from dividends. Render up 9% today. Let's take a look at render. Yeah, it doesn't take much for render to be up 9% though. It's got super low liquidity. Yeah, double bottom. Well, it's kind of got it. Yeah, I was preparing for a long here, but it didn't end up happening. Came out, yeah. Yeah, it was a great entry. Confirmation bounce off the local support, flipping as resistance, flipping as support. Liquidity grab here. Super steep momentum. and everyone's taking their Bitcoin and buying render. Yeah. Let's see. Let's take a peek at the other assets that we're looking at. There must be some kind of news event also that helped trigger this too. Okay. I want to look back at Solana really quick. And nothing yet. Whatever happened first, the long or the short. Ethereum. Link is still slow. Cardano still got a ways to go. Still dancing at the VWAP. Yeah. Already in on this for an hour. It's intense. Anything else you guys want to dive into while we're waiting for some distance away from the price action, our entry here? Take a look at Jasmine. Yeah. The ones, when you're looking at your watch list, looking at the percentage changed and seeing ones that have barely moved are usually ones that are about to break out. This one's already broken out. We got a confirmation rejection off this uptrending level support, flipping as resistance. We're still in this value area right here. Yeah, the long would have been better. We're kind of building a confirmation formation here. Yeah, we just gotta wait for this break here. Kyle is the GOAT. Thanks, man. I was forced to close Kava and BitGet. It closes automatically small amount repeatedly. Yeah, I saw, we looked at render already. There's a pretty big pump today. Going in on it now, I'll just be chasing it and Yeah, a great entry would have been when this candle closed here above this point of control, broke this downtrend resistance, and you would prepare to close it at this resistance here. Well, yeah, it maintained its momentum. You got support off this resistance here. And still heading towards its target. But we're getting close to yeah, around here is I believe it'll consolidate. Yeah, it's a pretty intense move. Yeah, the $2 level acts as a in price discovery mode. An even $2 will act as psychological resistance, but because of that, in the past, it formed as support, and now it's likely going to flip as resistance again. So between where we are now, honestly, just getting above this wick resistance, we could consolidate and build it as support. But between here and here, like this is where I believe it's going to begin to get exhausted. We got this momentum to help tell us though. Once this is lost and we start consolidating, then we'll know when the best time to close along like this is. The stop loss for the Bitcoin trade I've got set for 26958. For a 0.31% loss, or 3.10%. With leverage. The leverage I'm using right now is 10x. That's one thing I should set up with a copy trader, actually. The ability for me to control the leverage. Let's force to close Kava a bit. Let's take a look at Kava actually while we're waiting here. CAVA USDT. Yeah, we're looking at the last hope for Kava. What's this pennant here? If we broke the resistance, we'd repair for this target. We hit horizontal resistance, it looks like, and went down. It's been maintaining this downtrend. It's been in this uptrend for a while. It's been for 7 days. And now it's approaching this local consolidation zone, support level here. You pretty much got to pump straight up from here. If it pumps straight up, we can kind of like redefine our trend line a little bit. But right now it's kind of like open below it. Thanks, man. 2694 is not below the latest swing low. Is that okay? If on your exchange it's not below the swing low, then in my opinion it's not okay. Our exchange has different liquidity, so you should try to match that liquidity. For like BitGet 26944, it's the better bet. It's a little bit lower for BitGet. Roughly around here. It does give the, this is Bitstamp. It's matched against the US dollar, not USDT, so it's going to be a little bit more sensitive to the USD movements. And it sometimes we'll have like a little bit of an arbitrage gap between the exchanges we use. So just make sure your stop loss is in confluence with its price action in the exchange. Because the difference between getting stopped out and not getting stopped out with other exchanges could just be simply a small wick before it going our direction. All right, Bitcoin. Get some distance, like what I'm waiting for right now before I close the live is I want to see a strong amount of distance away from our entry, so and I can guide you on how I'm going to manage it. But when it trades against you this much, there's some certain things you can do to help manage your risk a little bit better. Sometimes it's adding more into your trade under certain events, but we don't have one of those events here. Like a double bottom neckline break, for example. Is it too late to enter now? Justin, you guys. So yeah, like we had a reason for entry when we broke this downtrend resistance. For you to have reason entry late would be for us to either A, confirm support here and start creating an uptrend. Looking at other assets though, Solana, it's gotta be close. No, it's still chilling. And Solana's looking good for either a long or a short opportunity, preferably the short. But it's getting close to its move. Ethereum still dancing away around. Link's taking its time too. And Cardano is just being wedged right now, right above the daily downtrending resistance, trying to flip as support. break this to the upside, we're gonna get a great early trade, because the daily candle would close above this downtrend resistance during that time. And daily candle break is much more significant, has much more weighted value than a lower time frame candle. Hence all this here, all this here, yeah. Just having to have each close for the daily just below this green line. Like over here, it closed. Over here, it closed. So all this is just the wick of the daily time frame right here. Yeah, anything else you guys want to go over while we're waiting here? So I add them for a second. Let's go back to Adam's looking pretty bearish short term. So lost this uptrending support. Lost this range support here. It's acting as resistance. We're about to lose this support here for this flag. Yeah, that's the short-term move for Adam right now. Nothing. 1 to 2. Local support. Here. And you got support here. That's the. Right here is like the immediate risk zone here. At 1071. And if we get past this, then you can adjust your stop loss to break even and then hit the target for around 1055 for a 2% move. Got a decent bounce here for Bitcoin. We can adjust this trend line a little tiny bit. Oh, here we go. All right. Now we got this rejection here. We got to be mindful of it continuing as resistance, potentially creating a bear flag and breaking to the downside. So I think what I'm going to do when we revisit this resistance again is close half my trade. 0.23% gain. And we move our stop loss to 0.23% loss, we'd be at break even other than the fees. So that's like this is an example of when to know when to close at your 1-to-1 Well, this we'll be forcing it as a 1-to-1 because our technical 1-to-1 would be when we close at a gain of 0.36. We are meeting resistance at 0.23, and if we still have decent levels of protection at a 0.23% loss for our stop loss, then you can justifiably move it. But as price action develops, we can find out whether or not it's a good idea. But right now, still gotta leave it the way it is. And clean confirmation balance on 15. Yep. We can take a look at Dash 2. Mason Dean. Dash USDT. A parabolic curve. Nice. Those are always a pain. I don't trade off them very often. But when I do, there's usually great profits. I can show you a great parabolic curve example with Bitcoin that we traded off of. Made really good money off of it. Like insanely good money off of it. So when you're using the curve trend line, there's 3 anchors. And your goal is to get your first anchor connected to a full body. And then from there, it's pretty subjective. It's pretty subjective after that, yeah. So you gotta be on it, adjusting it quite often, and eventually you're not gonna be able to adjust the parabolic curve. The asset's either gonna have to go straight up or break the curve. And usually the break is a dramatic drop, like a fat red candle. But the structure that we're building right now is warning us that we're more likely to break to the downside. Like soon. I just want to pull up the... Okay. Yeah, another great indicator to use for trying to map out a good entry, like another additional level of confluence for a parabolic curve break, is the squeeze momentum indicator right here. When it starts to shift from like bright green, start to go dark green here, it's a sign of momentum being lost. And it gives you an early warning that we're likely going to start a downtrend. If you use that in confluence with the momentum trend lines that I've been doing through every single trade that we've done together, it helps a lot with knowing, like, okay, we're not only have we lost this momentum from this trend line break, we're also losing momentum here with the squeeze momentum indicator. So what I would wait for is a break of this support and confluence with this momentum indicator starting to shift from bright green to dark green. And then put the stop loss above the swing high. Prepare for the immediate target, which is the rising wedge structure, which is down here at 4180. But like I said before, you got to prepare for a fast move usually. We could actually come down and retest the parabolic curve, believe it or not. It's not very common, but it does happen. And yeah, so if we're going to prepare for a retest, it'll be off this high interest level right here. Cody. Yeah, we can look at Cody. Let's take a peek at Bitcoin. It's got some resistance here. Start a new candle. COTI USDT. The exact same behaviors I was just talking about. Let's just map out the rising wedge. Now Cody's got less liquidity than Dash. So if you're going to pick a trade between this rising wedge and Dash's, I would pick Dash's over this one. And you got local support here that you gotta be aware of as well. If we get a break on, yeah, it'll be pretty. I can see this staying in the formation a little bit longer. See how it goes, but you always want to go for the rising wedge that's closer to the apex point, right about here, because you'll have the best. You get better and better risk to reward ratio, because the target's the bottom of the formation, and the swing high, it will be really close to your entry if you get the entry close to the apex point. So like Dash was closer. So if you're gonna pick a, like I said before, like a trade between one or the other, I would pick Dash over the Cody trade. We're getting pretty close. But yeah, I'm gonna go over that Bitcoin example that we did actually a while back, until you guys give me some more suggestions on what to look at or what to do while we're trying to kill time for the Bitcoin trade. So if I go back to my primary chart for Bitcoin, I'm bound to find it on the daily time frame. As you can see, I do trade Bitcoin the most. Got lots of, there it is right there. Same kind of behavior, like rising wedge structure. Use the rising wedge for the confirmation because the parabolic curve is difficult, but we actually had a, as you see here, we had a confirmation. These indicators, these are all busted. I gotta fix those. All right, so let's zoom in. So we had a parabolic curve here after this large drop. Technically a fishhook formation. We dropped hard, consolidated, broke to the upside. We'd enter along until we get to about its 40% recovery point, and then it'll tend to correct. We had this uptrending momentum here that we could follow at the time to help prepare us to close the short. We ended up building a continuation pattern and just kept going down. I think this trade, if I remember correctly, it was like a 22% gain, the leverage that I used. Yeah, I got shot back over here, so. Bitcoin losing that. It's on the 4 hour too. Yeah, the DXY meets, just continues its pump from here. There we go. Link, nope. Ethereum, nope. Cardano, nope. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana's barely holding on. How are we on the hourly? 7 minutes left. Okay. The hourly can give us a better entry if it was, yeah, it's pretty tight though. Bitcoin's going up now. Let's see what we got for. Okay, it's 0.16% distance from the trend line. What do you guys want to talk about? I am the least entertaining trader probably in the history of the planet, but I'm hoping the gains make up for it. You guys are super quiet. Oh shucks, love you too, bro. Thanks for the heart. Last two highs. Divergence are side daily. Bitcoin point control at 27390. Monday. We're above the daily POC. Coinbase the only way to get money into KuCoin for those of us in the US? KuCoin has been the only exchange I use, but I have been exploring my options. So you can do full KYC with KuCoin in order to use cards, like credit cards or bank transfers and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't think KuCoin's actually accepted in the US, so Coinbase probably the best bet. But yeah, like Kush said here, with you do Coinbase and transfer to KuCoin via Solana. And Solana's a great choice. The downside with Coinbase is there's a lot of assets, even though they have their own network, they prefer to use the Ethereum network for their transfers. So you want to pick assets that don't provide them the option to use alternative networks. So I use, to offboard my funds, because I don't onboard anymore, Stellar Lumens, mostly for my transfers. I will pick a day that I see it in an uptrend, and I'll transfer it from the exchange I'm offboarding from to Coinbase while it's an uptrend. So while I'm waiting for the funds to transfer over there, I'm actually gaining an income and gaining money while it's waiting for it to get to the account. But Stellar Lumens is super fast. It's like you'll get it in your account in like 10-15 seconds. But doing your transfers while there's an uptrend is usually, like, obtaining an asset and then doing your transfers during an uptrend is the best way of doing it. It's like the healthiest practice. And then while you're waiting for it to transfer to their account, you actually made more money than the fees anyways. Even the selling fees sometimes. And transferring Stellar Lumens is like 1 cent fee. Kyle, as your experience, when was a time or moment when you think you got trading mode achievement unlocked? I would say, let me go back in time here. So let's go to this is the range chart. I'll go to the daily chart here. When I entered here, so this is the previous cycle of Bitcoin here. I got in with 10x leverage right about here. And I rode it all the way up to 35K around this collapse, and we lost this momentum here. That's when I held it to. I made like a lot of money from that, but I'd say that was my most, I felt like I got the trader achievement after that. Like I made a stupid amount of money. Because like around here was the time, during the COVID crash, was the time I actually had a $15,000 account. And I lost like half my bag from it. And I rebuilt the account back to 15,000 before this massive breakout. And before the confirmation of the bull cycle being over, which was around 52K when I sold all my bags, I had $330,000 at the time. So between here and here, I've grown from a $15,000 account to a $330,000 account, and they've just been shorting ever since, down through here, and then I haven't started longing until this moment here. Well, sometimes I'll get some longs in and out kind of through here, but you know what I mean. I was mostly focusing on shorts since I knew it was the bear cycle. Let's see if I missed any questions. You still trading the original impulse on the 5-minute with the London and New York Open? If you understand what I mean. Not usually. like I'll still use EMAs to help support the confluence with my trend lines and stuff like that, but yeah, not usually. Those trades, like if you're trying to follow the rules of the impulse strategy, or sometimes they're active longer than I am, so I'll have to close the trade sooner. Let's go back to the hourly, zoom in. So what are you doing here? 15-minute. It's a pretty big gap there. Another question. Before you start your journey, did you had any background in trading? So before I started like trading like full time and stuff like that, I dabbled in trading. I did like the worst habits you can think of. Like I started doing binary options first, where you basically have 60 seconds to guess the direction of the asset, and after the 60 seconds has ended, whether or not you're right or wrong, to find like your gains or your losses. But the risk to reward ratio was always against you. It's like literally gambling, because whenever you lost, you always lost more. Whenever you gained, you always gained less. So it's like you're constantly trading at like a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So it's like the house is always against you. I did that for like a week. Hated, like I understood like why it was addicting, but it was not profitable doing that. And that was like before I learned like true technical analysis. I was essentially like in the gambling stage that every trader starts in. You know what I mean? Like everyone who starts trading and doesn't know what they're doing, and they enter a trade without like any confluence information, without any like real reason to enter the trade. They just want to enter just to enter. Like that was my fun start, like everyone always has, I guess. But then I was around when my first son Jaden was born, I actually like revisited it and realized that all the people online I was following, the gains were definitely real. So yeah, I would say it was around the time my son Jane was born was the time I took it seriously, because I needed something to earn income from, because I was stuck in a rut, only making like $25,000 to $30,000 Canadian per year. Kyle, on average, from your experience, how long does it take for a newbie to become profitable? So I've been hustling hard for 2 months now, and so far I'm down 30% on my initial balance. So that it completely depends on you. I know it's not a question you like an answer you like to hear. If I were to do a blanket statement on averages, it might not help you very much. You got to find out what it is you're lacking that's causing you to be at a loss. Every single time you have a loss, you should have this, like, your chart open, look at your target, look at your stop loss, and try to learn from your loss. Figure out why that loss occurred so you can prevent it from happening again. Or else there's no point. You're never going to learn from your losses, and you're not going to develop. So always go back on your trades and see what you can do to figure out why you've lost. Or you can easily just send me a screenshot and ask me why you lost, and I can let you know in a heartbeat. The trades that I lost, like yesterday, was the first loss I've had all month, and I had 2 back-to-back. And I know why I had those losses, and sometimes it's just a matter of like missing things that are kind of like right in front of you. But sometimes you can actually learn from it. And yesterday, when I entered in on the Cardano trade, I was aiming for a larger term swing, and I didn't wait for the larger term time frames to confirm that swing. So I entered too early, trying to get greedy into using the lower time frames to get a better entry, but I should have waited for the larger time frames to close. But if you had a good teacher, a course that doesn't just throw fluff at you, you could learn how to be a great trader within a month or two. It all depends on how much time you devote to it and how serious you are. You can throw in practice into paper trading for your technical analysis, and you can do hundreds of trades within a week using replay mode. So I would recommend doing paper trading for the technical analysis, and then using small amounts of funds, starting with, like, I know it's boring, but like the lowest amount you can start with, like maybe like $30 for futures or $10 for spot, and developing your emotions that way, starting with a low amount of funds and slowly adding more and more and more funds over time to develop your emotions, because the emotions will screw you over just as much. You see a giant fat green candle, you want to jump in on it, but when you start getting good at measuring your like momentum, the strength of the market based on formations, you can use it as a tool to kind of like guide you where the technical target is. And if the fat green candle you're looking at is already halfway to the target, you know that your risk to reward ratio is not going to be worth the effort, and you could end up losing money. So using that as an example to try to control your emotions, it's just to basically know the market and know how to measure your take profits, and use that as a tool to guide you into your risk to reward ratio, and use your risk to reward ratio to define whether or not you enter the trade. Sorry, I kind of went on a rant there. I'm just looking at the chat now, see if there's anything I missed for you guys. On average, from your experience, what's such a difference between reading on BitGet and Bitstamp? Yeah, there's a pretty big difference sometimes. So on here, it's showing that we're at a gain. On BitGet, we're at a little bit of a loss. But the structure remains the same. Yeah, XLM has been what I've already usually used. Oh, cool, right on. Yeah, XLM's great for transfers. Why don't you chart BitGet if that's what you use for the trade? Because Bitstamp has the most historical data. You typically want to pick the chart that gives you the most data. Now I've got similar like trend lines and all that stuff mapped out on my exchange, stuff like that, so I can know its relevant momentum, but I'll base most of my decisions off of the Bitstamp chart, because the direction of the asset is going to remain the same despite looking at the exchange, unless the exchange itself has like literally no liquidity and the price is like $1,000 difference. If there's $1,000 price difference or something like that on another exchange, I wouldn't be trading. I'd be doing arbitrage. I'd just be buying on one exchange, selling it on the other, like buying it on the lower, wherever it's the lowest price, transferring it to the exchange that's the highest price, and then selling it there, rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Arbitrage trading is, oh man, it used to be great. Now it's not that great. You can thank Chainlink for that. Their price feed algorithm kind of messed up the game for arbitrage, but it's protecting a lot of exchanges from liquidity theft. So I'm all for it. Loved your last video of the course. Can you do a video on your most used indicators, timeframes, and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, I can update the course for that too. Between Wednesdays and Fridays is going to be my recording times for the course. So I'm going to improve the course for you guys more and more over time. Just because Mondays and Tuesdays I'm doing these calls and sometimes they last quite a bit of time. And Bitcoin's going up. How's it doing on on BitGet? BitGet, it is, yeah, we're up on BitGet too. My KuCoin R&R based on formations is 1.56, but Bitstamp is 2+. Interesting. It's a pretty big difference, honestly. Yeah, we love Mondays and Tuesdays there. Yeah, KuCoin has terrible liquidity. Love the exchange, but it's great during the bull market to have whatever you have for reserve. So if you guys, I'm not sure how like where you are at with your trading, but you should have always stable coins set aside. You should always be liquid with stable coins on the side. And so you can do like short-term staking agreements with KuCoin to stake your USDT. During the bear market, it's depressing. You're not going to make very much, like maybe 1% per year with the APR or the APY. But during the bull market, it can go I see it go as high as 60%. It's nuts. It's not common and doesn't last very long, but I see it go as high as 60%, like 20%. Like 15% was probably the most common, but it would range all the way up to 60% sometimes, depending on the demand for USDT. So we can do that on the side while you're waiting for a move in the market. But with KuCoin, there's staking agreements with the lending protocol, and you got to make sure you choose the lowest time frame so you can have your funds released consistently and let it compound the growth faster. I don't think you're boring, Kyle. The entertaining hosts and traders are full of shit. And they pondered the meme coin chasing it. It doesn't mean I don't chase meme coins once in a while, but I'll do it strategically. You know, that I didn't go in on Pepe, but I went on Peepo, doubled the money, and then sold everything but my. When I doubled, I took out my seed investment. So basically, whatever's in there now is completely risk-free. I don't know what I'm at for that. I'm just gonna pull it up right now, see what the profits are. I've been kind of just letting it sit for the rest of it. Peepo, it's only at $32 now for the remaining half. That's crazy. What a collapse. We'll have to revisit that. But I wasn't really, I didn't really feel like the market could support the meme craze. You know what I mean? Like, so I wasn't too hyped up on it. Preach. That's the reality. Yeah. And the volume is depressing. I had a bad feeling about this week because of all the events going on. A lot of meetings going on this week for the US dollar. You're failing to create a higher high, so that concerns me a little there too. We got just downtrending resistance here that formed. Yeah, the target isn't hitting our stop loss, but when is karma reaching the headlines? When karma is done. Like right now, I'm keeping karma quiet because I want to focus on the development. The contract for its scam protection tool is built. The user interface is not yet built. What's Karma? Karma is a cryptocurrency that I coded. It's just, yeah. The goal, there's a lot of, yeah, I just don't want to get too much into it. But basically, there's a transfer tax. It's kind of, you've already heard of it before, but basically whenever there's a transfer of the asset, it'll burn some of the funds and it will distribute some of the funds to all the current holders. So you're basically earning a passive income by just holding the asset. The ultimate purpose of the asset is to be like a charity system. There's a reserve wallet. So when all these transactions are occurring from buying and selling or transferring, the reserve wallet builds and this gets used to basically donate funds to charities. And there's also going to be a scam avoidance system, so you can transfer assets from one person to another, but it will not release the funds to the other person unless you both agree on the transfer on both sides. And it prevents you from getting scammed from peer-to-peer transfers. It's basically escrow system. And there's going to be a small fee involved with doing that transfer, and that very small fee will be used to do a buyback burn of the asset. So when people use it, the scam protection tool, it basically will be pumping karma as a result and doing a permanent increase in the floor value of the asset because it's burning what's bought. But that's like that's the basics of karma. But I basically, in keeping on the down low, it's not even worth a penny right now. It's got like a supply of 7 million. Very low liquidity. It's just I'm keeping on DL because you're basically right now. If you were to buy it, you're basically banking on my ability to get it out there to the world, right? So it's not something I'm trying to push or anything like that. Maybe in the future I'll do some marketing for it. I just want to make sure everything's done and set in stone first. I don't want to be like Solana made the huge mistake of marketing their network before it was ready. They were focusing on the hype rather than development. So I'm focusing on the development before I even think about hype. Well, there's also a lot of regulatory issues too that I got to worry about. So I've been thinking about that too. How full this week is of meetings. Would this have a great week to go on vacation? Yeah, this would have been a great week to go on vacation for trading. Like, if I didn't have like, all these, like, if I didn't have so many responsibilities, like providing like trading signals throughout the week, this would actually be a week where I wouldn't even touch the market normally. We got to break that downtrending resistance. Super short term though. I'd love to break this local high here. Get support off of it. If we got support off of this, I would be moving my stop loss. And it would invalidate my fear of this rising wedge causing a break to the downside. What's Solana doing? Why does it feel like it's further away from the apex point? Okay, still chilling. And look away for a millisecond. Bitcoin's pumping. Nice. How does one obtain karma? Okay, so long as you guys understand that I'm not trying to like promote or anything like that, but if you were to get karma, think of it literally like gambling. Just go to karmatoken.org. You can buy it right from the website. Its liquidity is hosted on PancakeSwap, and I chose PancakeSwap because it has tons of security. So I like the protection around their liquidity pools. Unlike like Uniswap is great, but they copy PancakeSwap's protocols. So if they're not aware of all the security adjustments, it sometimes causes issues with their security. And if recently they had an issue. So, anyways, yeah, it's karmatoken.org. And here I got to update the website. It says tax 15%, but the tax is 3% now that the liquidity has become more balanced. It's very low liquidity, very low market cap. It's worth half a cent. So just be super cautious. Still in a downtrend right now. But when it has its uptrends, they're super strong. When it has downtrends, it's just as strong. All the liquidity is in BNB, so if it's something that you want to trade, you have to take account for the 3% fee when you do your trades. And you got to take account for BNB for its liquidity value. When BNB pumps, Karma tends to pump along with it because all of its liquidity is in BNB. So you can use that as a correlating asset. No farmer, we didn't enter Solana. We did not enter Solana yet. It's just taking its time right now, validating the break of this support. We're inching our way down to it, and we haven't had a good confirmation yet. This is like an hourly confirmation trade on this red line here, a 15-minute confirmation on this red line here. Can we look at XRP? Yeah, we can do that. Hey, I'm a graphic designer. If you need one, I'm open for commissions. I'm a graphic designer too, and I did all the work for Karma. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a graphic designer as a profession, unfortunately. Well, yeah, I'm interested in seeing if you shoot me a message on Discord. I can take a look. Anything to help delegate all the work I have to do. Yeah, Solana, not yet, guys. Still waiting. And XRP. We can take a look at XRP. I've got a chart for XRP, so let me pull that up. There we go. What I like about XRP is it has a large, like it's a high percentage chance of a confirmation bounce off of its formations. And if you're a confirmation trader rather than a breakout trader, your win rate is going to be a higher percentage. But you have less trades. That's the downside. You sacrifice some trades waiting for a confirmation bounce, but you do get a higher win rate. Yeah, XRP. If it approaches this point of control here, we'd have an Adam and like inverse Adam and Eve right here. It's too late to enter off of this double bottom structure, obviously, but this could be a great early entry if you are wanting to react to this resistance. If we get a bounce, well, based on this price structure, honestly, we'll probably see us come up to here, get a rejection, come back down, confirm the Adam and Eve, and that could give us enough momentum to break through this resistance. If we don't break through the resistance, then we'll just simply double top. And then this support also will become the neckline for the double top. Now, this is just guesswork based on the current price action, so take it with a grain of salt. But that's what I prepare for with XRP. Yeah, this was pretty easy to trade over here too. But let's zoom out for a second. I want to see how strong that valley is there. We're in the valley. Okay. We'll see how it reacts to this area of interest over here. But in the macro, we have this downtrending level of resistance that we could watch. And it looks like it's about to break. Or we'll continue from the... Let's go back to the 4 hour. Yeah, this is like the decision maker right here. We're pretty close to the edge of its move. We'll either meet this as resistance and get pushed down and lose this support, or we'll finally break this resistance. And we want to make sure when we break this resistance that we do it above this point of control. Like I would not touch and long unless we got above this area here. You don't want like something like this and then break to the downside from that formation. What the hell is an Adam and Eve? Okay, so an Adam and Eve, they're just like double tops, except they tend to have more momentum. So this is the Adam. This would be the Eve. It's, I think they came up with the name based on private parts. You know, we got a ding dong and a boob here. You're ready to go. But once we break the neckline, it's just like a double top scenario. You see the price action come back down, revisit it as resistance, and then you'd enter to short and use the Eve as your stop loss location. Unless there's price action showing like a tweezer top along the way, you can use like something like a tweezer top instead. An inverse Adam and Eve is just the exact same thing as it flipped upside down. Same behavior in terms of the target as a double top, but when it comes to the speed and the momentum, it's usually faster. Can we call it the ding dong and boop formation from now on? Maybe during our calls. Yeah, maybe during our call, like coaching calls. Kyle can even cleanly vulgarize that. Yeah. Solana. No. Bitcoin got an inch on our break-even zone. Let's see, we could have used, yeah, we could have used this to warn us of this resistance. Do Canadians curse? Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah, bud. Yes, they do. They they swear all the time. I just don't curse very often. No. I just. Yeah, if you want to meet my brother, he's the opposite of me. Exact opposite. He'll curse all the time. Get below point control here. I'm a vulgar American. But a Quebecer a lot more. Yeah, if you go to Quebec, which is only like 2 hours from me, the whole entire environment just changes. Crazier drivers, the signs are sideways, everyone's speaking a different language, and you gotta be careful walking on the sidewalks because you could get hit. Sent you a text on Discord as, all right, cool, thank you. I'll take a look at that after the call. Yes, InvestiShare only needs about 65 more members roughly before I can start hiring a bigger team. So we're getting pretty close. If I start hiring a bigger team, I can start doing a lot more for the community. I last year alone, I spent $75,000 on InvestiShare. I don't know what I'm at this year. So far, let's take a look. I haven't reported all my expenses yet in my system, but this year's around 23,600. Still got the momentum holding up. We just got 8 minutes and try to recover here. One-hour bull divergence forming on Solana. Oh yeah, see that? Yeah. So for those who don't know what bullish divergence looks like, you will have a downtrend, swing lows, while on the RSI we have swing highs. So we're right about here to here. You can see it's in, you align your mouse with the trend line, and you see if it goes in an uptrend, and you got yourself bullish divergence. I use actually an indicator called divergence, and what it'll do is it'll draw it for me in case I didn't catch it. But it's a lagging indicator. It'll show you the bullish divergence when there's a new higher high. So right about here, it would signify it. Right about here, it would reflect this. And right about here, it would reflect this. So you still gotta learn how to do, divergences on your own, but this can help you identify them and map them out faster and learn over time. Using bullish divergences near areas of support are usually great signs to enter a long position, especially when you're range trading. Adding bullish divergences to your range trading strategy will just dramatically improve your win rate. And if you got the confluence of the squeeze momentum indicator like this, when it shifts from red to green, in confluence with bullish divergence, you can use literally that right there. You can create your own strategy off of that, back test it, see if it works first, obviously. I do it. I personally do it sometimes. I'll look for it in confluence. Yeah, they lag though. Gotta train the eyes. Yeah. Speaking my thoughts. Bitcoin down spike. Let's take a look. Yeah, I've got a bit of a down spike here. Stop loss is still protected from this downtrending momentum and this uptrending support. So the only positive that I could see with it going against us this soon is the fact that this could turn to a double bottom structure after breaking this downtrending momentum. Your Gala trades at 40%. Nice. Would you let those invalidate the setup on Solana? Definitely not. No. You can have consistent bullish divergences form, and then they're usually good for like short-term bursts. Like if we end up having bullish divergence here, we create that higher high, we can still meet this resistance and then be pushed right back down even after the bullish divergence is confirmed. You still got to be aware of like local levels of resistance. Short on Pepe. We could take a look at Pepe. The downside with, well, Pepe's already at close to the top 10 now, which is bizarre. Can't say anything about its market cap right now. I'm always looking for an excuse not to trade Pepe. I traded it once, and it was order book trading it during time of listing on BitGet. I don't know much about its protocol, if it even has one, but based on the price action on the 15-minute time frame, you could see that there's some kind of tax involved. They got to have some kind of tax involved in this decentralized protocol, because it's really, it's a lot of frictional movements here. Going over the hourly time frame. This actually, honestly, I wouldn't be preparing for a short. If we revisit this point of control and we come back up to right about here, we can have an inverse, like an inverse head and shoulder structure. We're starting to double bottom here. I'm going to take a peek at Gala first, and then I can take a look at AGIX for you there. Yeah, Bitcoin is still pushing hard. Yeah, Gala's, you're up 40%. If you got in, it's probably because of this pennant here. I was talking about it here, but I didn't enter because at the time where it opened, I mean, where this candle closed, it was a little too far gone for me. But I didn't realize it. We weren't looking at the time during the confirmation bounce there. I can't believe it's been 2.5 hours. That's crazy. But we're getting back above this local resistance. If we get above this here, that's really significant. Be a massive move. Yeah, you could have gotten early for a huge move, man. Just manage your stop loss safely. At this point, you could probably put your stop loss at break even. But if you get above this, and you're off the, you're great. You're doing great. I might enter late if we get above this neckline here. I think I'll just let it go for a month. Let's zoom out and see if that's possible. How long was this formation? It was 9 days. And it had 6-day drop momentum. If we had 6-day pump momentum after this neckline break, let's see, what's that? It should take about 3 days actually for it to hit the target once we find support off this neckline. Once you have your first correction and it starts to ladder back up, you can start mapping momentum from there. I've got 200 in at 25x, and my position cannot be liquidated. Your position cannot be liquidated. I want to price doubling on the alts. When you buy Karma, do you also stake it? Well, with Karma, the great thing about it is that you don't need to actually stake it in any pool or have it locked anywhere or anything like that. It's automatically staked while it's within your wallet because of how the protocol works. So you're going to be earning more Karma just by holding it. After every single transaction that happens in the network. Was I missing something else? AGIX, yeah. I'm going to take a quick peek on Bitcoin. Okay. And you want to zoom out a little bit, eh? You said spot AGIX. Okay. Yeah, for AGIX, it's was this, yeah, during this little pump here was during the AI craze phase. We had a decent phase for AI tokens at that time. Then it started losing momentum just like all the other AI tokens did. We got this downtrending resistance here. Now this isn't very old. It's only like 87 days. So it's young. I think it's I don't remember correctly if AGIX was one of those ones that changed its ticker or not instead of creating a whole new asset. I'll have to double check into it, but yeah. Yeah, it's looking like it's about to double top. If we lose that neckline for AGIX, we're likely to come back down to this area of interest where this point control is right here. And you can, yeah, see. It's getting there for a drop. But yeah, right now as it stands, based on the current momentum, this is the momentum I'd follow. If we break this neckline right here at 25.19, we'll go back down to the point control at 24.4. But I wouldn't doubt me. I wouldn't doubt it if we got a bounce at the point of control though down here, and then we come back up and revisit this resistance. Here's another example. We were talking about like parabolic curves. You can see here we had a parabolic curve drawn out, and it wasn't exactly a rising wedge like the last ones we were looking at, but we got an ascending triangle and it broke to the downside. But yeah, there's nothing to jump in on for AGIX other than a potential short. Oh, we got our stop loss hit. One sec here. Man, 2 trades in a row. Well, let's see if we can flip short, if it's safe. Because it's pretty significant level of support here. The stop loss location would be... Well, we first got to validate, obviously. We can't just enter a short. If we're going to enter a short, stop loss location should be about here. It's a longer term trade. Head and shoulders behavior. And this, it will be a confirmation formation as well for a macro break of that support level. Like if we go back to like let's go to the daily. Like this whole move could be a confirmation rejection off of this support level right here. Right here. Support flipping its resistance. We got the resistance flip here. In the short time frames, this is a wick, but on the this is a wick here in the larger time frames, but in the short time frames, this is the head for the head and shoulders right here. And losing the support, the technical target of the formation was already kind of technically hit from the steep drop at 25,800 it went to. The target was around 25,700. But in order for us to come back down here, we have to lose this demand zone. So for this one, I would recommend, we got 6 minutes for the hourly candle confirmation. FADA. Yeah, sometimes you get those losses. Yeah, losses come, unfortunately. Five minutes. And 5 minutes on the 15 as well. I got a coaching call in 5 minutes, so I can't enter this one. This drop is eating our R&R right now. So if you have it too far down to your risk reward ratio and you're not comfortable with that risk reward ratio, or if you're not comfortable with that loss, you can wait for a confirmation rejection. They don't always happen, but if it were to happen based on this price action, we'd get the bounce here before coming back up and revisiting it here. You could get yourself a better entry. And this would be the momentum that would follow for the short right here. Are we entering a short on Bitcoin now? Technically, there's an available short when we get an hourly candle close in 3 minutes off of the loss of this uptrending level of support here. But I won't be able to do it during this call, unfortunately. But I'm just going to let you guys know that this is definitely a valid short if we get an hourly close down below here. But you want to, in my opinion, I want to see how it reacts to this resistance or support here that could flip as resistance. Because you could have it close right back up in there within the next 3 minutes. It's bizarre. Forcing you to wait longer. But we still got 3 minutes left. So the introduction of Gala version 2 could create a pump. What do you think? Thesis did seem to think about that. So yeah, the V1 version of Gala is going to drop when they pull liquidity out and put it into the new asset. There's going to be the first day or two, there's going to be a period of low liquidity, so it'll take less amount of funds to cause a pump or a drop. It depends on how well they do their migration for their liquidity from the previous version of the token to the new token. But longer term, I think what they're doing for Gala is bullish. But short term, I think that there's going to be as they establish new value area, they could create a huge drop at the very beginning. Day 1 pump, day 2 massive crash, massive crash, and then after that it'll start to rebalance. I think we can make one trade each day. Yeah, you can make a trade. It's safe to do a trade almost every single day, except for days during FOMC meetings or low volume, which is typically during weekends. Yeah. All right, guys, I got to jump out. I got a coaching call waiting for me on Zoom. It's behind my camera here. You guys can't see it, but I've got pop-up notifying me I got a coaching call jumping up. Wasn't Gala V2 live on Monday? I'm not sure. I'll take a look into that. I thought it was happening. Well, it could have. Yeah, it could have happened yesterday or 2 days ago. Don't miss this Solana move in 15 minutes. Yeah. Okay. I think you're not. Where is Solana? Okay, cool. We broke structure for Solana. 11-second confirmation. And yeah, you can technically enter now. That's a cool yeah, that's a great trade. Just be aware that it could bounce from this local price action over here and come back and revisit. Still a decent risk to reward ratio. All right, guys. Have an awesome day, and thanks for jumping on.